Welcome to our new podcast called Stay in the Fun, where we guide you to stay in the fun for your whole life. Our premise is based on a 3-part master plan for active aging. And hi, I'm your host. I'm Dr. Paul Meyer. I'm a board-certified chiropractic orthopedist. I've been in practice for over 40 years. And I also own a gym. So I've developed this 3-part master plan for active aging. And so today, our first episode, we're going to discover the 3 parts necessary to keep you active, happy, healthy while you age. And the 3-part master plan includes fitness, right? Nutrition, you knew that. What's the third one? Now that's where people get stumped. Fitness, nutrition, and mobility. Because if you can't be mobile, there's no exercise, and your life starts to close in on you. Your world starts to close in on you. And so we're going to discuss that today. And in our future podcasts as well, we will cover different things relating to those 3 steps. So the first topic that we're going to talk about today is, it really asks the question, if you can't out-exercise your diet, have you heard that? You can't out-exercise your diet. If you can't out-exercise your diet, then why exercise at all? We'll cover that. And then the second part, we're going to cover the second question, is how you can maintain a healthy diet with your lifestyle. How your lifestyle gets in the way sometimes of the way you eat. But first of all, let's talk about how this whole process came about. A number of years ago, I was in shape, but I wasn't in great shape. I mean, I was, at 58, I was playing hockey. I was exercising. And so at that time, I had what they call atrial fibrillation in my heart, meaning the upper chambers of the heart would start to flutter sometimes and not beat in synchrony. It wouldn't beat together, which caused some anxiety. And there is a slight risk for a stroke. So I went to have a procedure done called an ablation. And that's where they actually go in and scar the tissue of the heart. And so the heart is electrical. It conducts electricity across the muscle fibers. And they have these areas that misfire. And so when you go in and scar that tissue, then that blocks the misfire. And then your heart doesn't get out of sync and it beats normally. So I had that done. And it was very successful. And about probably 3 or 4 weeks after that, the doctor told me, you can start back to exercise and you can start back. You can't play hockey yet because I was on blood thinners. You have to be on blood thinners for a number of months. And so I was still on all that. But he said, yeah, you can start getting more active. So it was a Friday and I'm off on Friday. And so I went and I walked the dogs and I went to the gym and I exercised. But since he told me I could go, and I had been doing that already, but since he told me I could start to play hockey here in a few short weeks, I went back to the ice rink and started to skate. So I remember I got in the ice rink. There were 2 little girls out there. I had the whole rink to myself. And I started skating laps. And I wasn't going too fast or anything, just kind of trying to get back in shape. And then kind of realized, boy, I'm kind of winded. What's going on? I just, am I out of shape? So I skated a few more laps, and I remember looking at the clock, and it was 1:45. And I thought, well, I'm going to skate till 2 o'clock. And so I skated, and I thought, man, I am so out of shape, I can barely get my breath. This is crazy. And so finally, I didn't even make it till 2 o'clock. I finally just sat on the bench, got out of my skates, and went back to my car. And I was just feeling kind of bad. It wasn't really hurting, but just didn't have, energy. I just felt real tired. And I sat in my car, and I put my head on the steering wheel. And I got to thinking, well, I've played hockey in this rink over 1,000 times. I've never felt this bad. Why am I feeling this bad? And then I realized I'm having a heart attack. Hit the GPS, the hospital was a mile away, I took off. Now, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to call for an ambulance. And as I tell my wife, if I had been at home, we'd have argued for 20 minutes. So anyway, I take off for the hospital. I get in, park the car, walk in, throw in my wallet and said, I'm having a heart attack. They immediately put me in a room, put an EKG on me. The guy pointed his finger and says, yeah, you do. And with that, everybody was in. Cardiologist walks in. They took me into a room and put a catheter up the artery in my leg. It went into my heart, and by then the pain was there. You know, they talk about a pain, that left arm hurts. That left arm hurt so bad it was as if you drove a truck on it. The pain was intense, but it hadn't hurt up until about that time. A lot of pain. Still trying to get my breath. Laid me on the table, stuck the catheter in there, and they found 2 100% blocked arteries and 1 80% blocked artery. So they put stents in the 2, and they ballooned open the 3rd one, and immediately that pain left my arm. Just like that. It was amazing. The doctor, he looks at me, says, "I just saved your life," and walked out of the room. And so he's right, he did. And then I went to my first follow-up appointment I had with him after the hospital. And I'm sitting there and he walks in, he goes, "You know I saved your life, right? You know I saved your life." And I said, "Yeah, I know, but isn't that your job? I mean, what do you want me to do? Like wash your car every day for the rest of my life? It's your job." He started laughing. Good guy, good doctor. He did save my life. And so I asked him that day, I said, "Why were you at the hospital that day? Why didn't they have to call you from your office to come in?" Because it was a Friday afternoon, about 2:30. And he said, "I was about to do a procedure. I had a guy on the table when you came in. I had not stuck the needle in him yet. If I had, you would have had to wait 30 minutes before I get you on the table. I took the guy off the table, put you on, and it saved your life." And that's a miracle. And so after I had the heart attack, I went to cardiac rehab. And I did that for 12 weeks, I think, 12 weeks, 10 weeks, something like that. And really got interested in how cardiac rehab works. And I knew the exercises because I've been doing spinal rehab for 40 years. I knew the exercises. And it got me interested in owning a gym. So I checked around for about a year and a half looking at different franchises, and I found this one called Workout Anytime. Love it, great group of guys. And so we opened a gym. So I actually have a chiropractic office that I work at and a gym in Arlington, Texas. So that's kind of how all this came about. It piqued my interest in exercise, nutrition, and I already had an interest in mobility. But as I'm getting older, and as you get older, even if you're 20 when you hear this, or you're 40 or you're 80, the point is you want to stay active as long as you can, right? I mean, there's nothing, you don't want to sit at home and watch TV all day because you can't get out and do things because your back hurts or your knee hurts or your hip hurts or your shoulder hurts. You want to be able to be very active while you age. And so that's the purpose of this podcast. That's the purpose of our Stay in the Fun, is a way to communicate new and upcoming things that will help you to remain active and do the things you want to do. And if someday you are sitting there watching TV, it's because you want to. It's not because you can't do other things. So that's enough about how this started. We're going to talk about our 2 points. But first, we're going to hear a word from our sponsors. And we have 2 great sponsors. I know them personally. The first one is Meyer Chiropractic Center, of which I own. And the second one, of course, is Workout Anytime in South Arlington, Texas. So, Meyer Chiropractic Center, we're located at 5520 South Cooper Street in Arlington, next to Dickey's Barbecue. It's about a mile south of I-20 on Cooper Street. We concentrate on spinal disc conditions. So low back pain with pain down the leg, neck pain with pain down the arm. That's the type of, we do all orthopedics. We do knees, shoulders, ankles, joints as well. But you really got to imagine the skill necessary to take care of someone with burning pain down the back of the leg. You get the area to heal and get them out of pain, and you didn't give them one pill and surgery. It wasn't referred for surgery. Now that takes some skill, and we've got it down to a system now after all these years, and it's just something we love to treat. I like to treat low back pain, pain down the leg. If I can get 10 of those a day, I'm happy camper. I have a system all set up for it. So our phone number for Meyer Chiropractic Center is 817-GOT-PAIN, like that, 817-GOT-PAIN. That's 817-468-7246. Okay. Now, our other sponsor is our fitness and coaching center called Workout Anytime, and we're in South Arlington. Now, that's just east on the Arlington side of Highway 287 and Sublette Road. We're a results-based gym. Now, I know you say, well, every gym is a results-based gym, but really, you take the experience I had in cardiac rehab, you take the experience I've had in spinal rehabilitation, and you apply that in a gym setting, then you get people that come in and have more of a reason than to just get on the treadmill. We have results. We have actually coaches that can help coach diet, nutrition. We have coaches that can help with exercise, fitness, and then also mobility problems as well, because we refer back and forth from the chiropractic office to the gym all the time. So if you're looking to lose some weight, we have a wonderful 6-week challenge. It's an introductory session, 6 weeks. It does fitness, accountability. So if someone helps you on those days when you want to give up, they're there to help. And nutrition. And all those 3 things combined will give a great result, and it's easy and it's fast. And most all the work is done for you. You don't even have to think. You can come in, they've got the exercises planned for you, the nutrition, you get to select the foods you like, and it's easy. And then accountability. So someone's watching you, making sure you make progress. It's a great system. Now, it's called Workout Anytime. We're in South Arlington. Our phone number there is 817-563-9000. 817-563-9000. And so that's a word from our sponsors. So we ask that you support them because they'll help me support this podcast. All right, so our point number 1 are the topic we're going to talk about today first is if you can't out-exercise your diet, then why exercise at all? And I know some of you are going, oh, well, it helps your heart, it gets your metabolism, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I understand that. But it sounds kind of futile when there are about 4,000 calories in a pound of fat. And if you're on the treadmill running a 6-minute mile, which is a pretty fast clip, and most people can't do it at that rate, you're burning about 100 calories a mile, fat. So it's going to take you 40 miles to lose 1 pound of fat. Now, you're going to lose weight. Oh, I did it, and I love it. Yeah, because you're burning up protein, and that takes away from muscle mass, and you are sweating. You're losing water, and that's where most of the weight loss comes from. So, even though you can't out-exercise your diet, exercise is important for a number of reasons. The first one is muscle mass. And some of you are going, well, I don't want to be bulky, I don't want to build up. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about trading that belly fat for muscle. I'm talking about taking the fat, losing fat, body fat, and gaining muscle. The more muscle you have, the higher your metabolism will be, because muscle needs energy to burn. Muscle is active. Fat is not active. Beatrice Killian says, you ever had a muscle cramp? Yeah, it's active. You ever had a fat cramp? No, nobody ever has a fat cramp. So you have muscle cramps because muscles are active. Therefore, the more muscle tissue you have in your body, the higher your metabolism will be. And the higher your metabolism, which is the furnace in your body that's burning calories, the higher that is, the more calories you'll burn at rest. So you need to exercise, you need to exercise to increase muscle mass, not bulk, but you can, but not bulk, reduce the body fat. And then the other benefit of exercise, obviously, is cardio. it helps build strength in your heart. Now, why is that important? So remember I was telling you the story about I have 100% clogged arteries and 2 arteries. You have main arteries that deliver blood to different areas in your heart. And then there are tiny little blood vessels called capillaries that branch off from there. The more you exercise, the more demand you have on your heart. Therefore, the more blood supply you build up and need. Those tiny little capillaries then get bigger. They get bigger and they become what they call arterioles, or small arteries. And then they can get into bigger arteries. The more arterial flow, the more pipe you have sending oxygen and nutrients to your heart tissue, the more number of pipes. If you end up with a blockage in one pipe, the other pipes are big enough to carry extra flow around that heart to the muscle to keep it from getting damaged. So the more you exercise, or not necessarily more, but you can get your exercise to a level where you're going to increase the blood supply to the heart. It'll dilate or make those capillaries bigger into smaller arteries and into arteries, and it improves the entire circulation of your heart. So if you do have another incident, you have a time where a clot forms or the arteries close, you have other circulation to get there. Think about you have a main road, main highway, and there's all these little highways around it. And the main highway gets blocked all the time, and eventually the city comes in and makes all those other little highways that go around it bigger. Now the traffic flows, and it doesn't matter if the main artery or the main road is restricted, the other pathways are open to get the traffic through. So, building muscle mass, which keeps your metabolism going at a higher rate, which causes you to burn more calories all day, which makes it easier to lose weight, plus the benefit to your heart. So that's why you need to exercise. All right. Now, how do you maintain a healthy diet when life gets in the way? We're going to cover this topic deeper as we go through these podcasts. But for now, it's just one major premise that you have to understand. And if you master that, losing weight is easy. One premise you got to understand, and losing weight is very easy. No, not really. It's not easy, it's hard. But the premise is still the premise. If you understand this basic fundamental, it will help you get through and to lose the weight that you want to lose. If losing weight was easy, everyone would do it, and you wouldn't have this podcast, you'd have no interest in it because it could be done. But the main premise is this. Every day, every meal is a challenge. Every day, every meal is a challenge. Every day, every meal is a challenge. You go for lunch. I brought my lunch. I've meal prepped. I have my chicken breast and my broccoli, and your buddy says, "Hey, let's go out to lunch." And you're like, "Okay." And now you're out to lunch. Every day's a challenge. What am I going to eat for dinner tonight? Am I going to eat what I'm supposed to eat? Or what am I supposed to eat? And how much do I eat? Oh, every day, every meal is a challenge. So what happens when you say, you get home and you've got your meal plan, you got your broccoli and your spinach and your 10 ounces of lean beef or buffalo burger, whatever it is, and your wife says, "Don't you remember? We're going out to dinner with our friends." So, part of our nutrition plan at the gym includes this, what we call a restaurant ordering system. I'm going to cover that with you right now. So, you go to the restaurant. Most of the time, you can modify what you eat at the restaurant to help you stay focused and not add a lot of extra calories. It's tough. It's a challenge every single meal. When you get to the restaurant and you're looking at the menu, you have to realize, and this is in me personally, this is what I forget. I'm on a diet. I forget I'm watching what I eat. I forget I've changed my lifestyle, and I want to go back to the old lifestyle as opposed to, well, I always order a large. And so when I go out to the restaurant and I'm not thinking, I order the large. But I really should order the small, because halfway through the large you realize I could stop eating right now and be fine. And you go ahead and eat the whole thing. So when you're at the restaurant, you sit down, you get the menu out. Step number 1, pick your protein. Okay? So most of you are going to say, oh, I want chicken or I want beef. And you want chicken, but you don't want fried chicken. You don't want to add, when you're picking your protein, you don't want to add as many calories. I mean, I love fried chicken. It's the best food next to potato chip. They're great. But when you go to the restaurant, you don't want chicken strips. You want grilled chicken. You want to get rid of the fat, the oil, and the fried, starches from the breading. Chicken breast. Or fish. Grilled salmon, grilled whitefish, grilled trout. Yeah. Those, pick your protein, get it with the least amount of additives to it. Turkey breast would be good. And step 2 is skip the fat. In other words, don't order some things that are high in fat, like French fries. Skip all that, because you're going to get enough fat in whatever it is you're eating, whatever the protein is. They'll cook it in butter. Try not to do that, but grilled is probably the best if you can. But if they're going to saute it, if they're going to put a sauce on it, those types of things, they're just going to add. And sometimes you can't get around it. I understand that, especially when they add a lot of salt to the food. So that's kind of what you want to do with the protein, and then skip the fat. Then when you look at your side dishes, the more green leafy vegetables you can pick, the better, as opposed to starches like potatoes, dumplings, bread, things like that. Look and see what you can get as far as green leafy vegetables. And then portion size that. A cup and a half, a cup of whatever you've decided to get. You can have some starch. You can have a little bit of rice or a little bit of potato, mashed potato, or something baked potato, but you just don't want a lot of fat added to it. So pick your starch, pick your veggie. I know, and then skip dessert, right? It's hard. I got it. Everybody else is eating dessert. Let me tell you though, when I had my heart attack, I don't eat red meat anymore. I haven't had red meat for almost 8 years. And the first time we went out to dinner with a group of people, we went to a steak place. And I would have ordered the prime rib, the large cut. Oh, it's delicious. And what do you want? Well, I want the porterhouse. What do you want? I want the ribeye. What do you want? I want the prime rib. And they get to me and I go, I'll take a salad with salmon on it. It hurts so bad. But, after a while, it doesn't matter anymore. I don't even want to eat that stuff anymore because I know it's not good for you. The red meat doesn't work well with clogged arteries, so I don't want to eat that. And again, the purpose of this podcast is to be active while you age. Be able to do the things you want to do. Go hiking, climb steps. We went on a tour one time in the Middle East, and there were a lot of people with us, maybe 20, 30 years older than us, and we got out to go walk this very important area. It was really neat. Half the bus stayed there because they couldn't walk. They missed this whole presentation, this whole ruins of things we were looking at because they couldn't physically walk. You don't want to be there. You don't want to do that. Active aging. Do the things you need to do. so that you can do the things you need to do. Well, I hope you liked our first podcast. I really enjoyed it. You got a little bit of my personal life and what brought about this. You're going to want to incorporate some muscle building in your exercise, not just all cardio. Cardio is good for your heart. Cardio does burn calories. But if you can increase your muscle mass, lose the body fat, your metabolism will be higher, you'll burn more calories at rest, and also make sure you get plenty of sleep. Anyway, thank you for listening. Next time, we'll see you, and stay in the fun.